That's a fucking ghost. That's a myth. That's a fucking hitman.
Hitman?
Hitman. Hitman.
Hitman?
Hitman. Hitman.
Hitman?
Hitman. Hitman.
Hitman Bret Hart.
I got wood, man.
Hitman as a series is one that I admittedly didn't have any familiarity with going into. It may come as a shock, but I don't normally play stealth games too often. Sure, there's been a few here and there that I've liked over the years, but I don't go actively seeking them out because I'm the type of person who likes to run around and unleash massive amounts of fucking rage. So as per request, you know who you are, I've decided to play around with something that doesn't fall into the realm of the usual first-person shooters that I've been looking at recently.
There's some change for an old fool. Ah, God, there's coffee in there, you fucker.
Hitman Absolution is actually a game that I remembered seeing on display during the days of inhabiting GameStop like a fucking plebeian squatter. I had a familiarity of the series' existence, but I never actually looked into them outside of seeing pictures of the games in those shitty-ass Game Informer magazines. As the fifth game in the series, Hitman Absolution was developed by IO Interactive and published by Square-Enix way back in 2012 for consoles and PC. The game itself acts as a sequel to the 2006 release of Hitman Blood Money. Going into this, I wasn't actually sure if I was going to miss out on any valuable story details, so I had to do a little spoiler reading. It wasn't too bad, so I didn't mind so much going straight into Absolution over playing any of the series' predecessors. However, it's worth noting that I have heard that the previous games are very good, and Absolution lays as kind of an odd man out to some people. This is mostly due to certain elements such as linearity and what people consider to be a weaker story. That being said, as a first-timer with the series, I'm gonna go into this one with an open mind. As I've mentioned, I don't play many stealth games, so my thoughts on Hitman Absolution might differ from anyone who knows more about the series than I do.
Anything less festive.
Can I bring a bottle to your room, Mr. Franklin?
Something brown.
Trying not to give away too many spoilers to anyone potentially interested in playing this game in the future. In Hitman Absolution, you play as a fucking bald dude named Agent 47. 47 is sent to take out his former handler, Diana, who had gone rogue by taking an international contact agency asset with her. This turns out to be a genetically engineered girl named Victoria, who the organization wanted to use as an assassin. The opening prologue tasks you with assassinating Diana and then retrieving the girl, after which it sets the stage for the game by showing that Agent 47 goes AWOL by taking the girl away. Summing it up, 47 is supposed to act as somewhat of a protector for the girl until later in the game when she's taken, which leads 47 to have to go and rescue her from some fucking scumbag.
Fuck! What the fuck kind of place you running here, Clive?
Hitman Absolution has multiple levels with various sections to them. Some of them are really short and some of them take a bit of effort. Each of them tasks you with either assassinating targets or doing something like disabling security devices. Every level also has its own set of personal objectives that you can complete as well. These objectives could be anything from finding different disguises or using various objects to distract or kill enemies with. The gameplay is obviously stealth oriented, so you do a lot of sneaking about. I also have to admit that some of the missions are an actual pain in the fucking ass due to how the game works. For example, enemies seem to come in brutal waves, which makes recuperating after being spotted an actual pain in the fucking dickhole. It's apparently possible to kill all of them, but I personally never lasted long enough for that to happen, so your best bet is to play cautiously and not go gung-ho like a fuckhead. I'd guess that playing on an easier difficulty could make this much more feasible, but I personally got my ass handed to me. You do have different ways that help make going through missions easier. For example, you could wear a multitude of disguises. However, this could be sort of a hit or a miss due to the game's weirdly flawed instinct mode. I don't think it's a bad concept in theory, but it can make playing a fucking pain in the ass in certain areas shitty to deal with. This is mainly because you need to rely on disguises, and your cover can be blown pretty fucking quickly if you don't have the right disguise or the instinct mode energy available. You are able to get energy back by stealth killing or doing other shit like hiding when you're not being searched for, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to recharge by itself unless you're playing on easy mode. I guess that was the developer's way of trying to balance the game out, so people didn't rely on it too much. But still, I personally found this mechanic to be relatively annoying to deal with in certain areas. You also need the instinct mode energy to use your point shooting ability. This lets you slow down time and target different enemies to shoot at in a quick succession. It's a great way to kill a large group of enemies. However, I almost always found myself with very little to none energy to use instinct mode, so I didn't really get to use it too often.
Come on, give him some
I mentioned earlier that you could dispose enemies using certain things found in each of the levels. This could be anything like knives, fire axes, or even different guns. Additionally, 47 has the ability to gear out enemies, which basically acts as sort of a quick takedown. Then there's 47 silver baller pistols. You have the option of either using one or dual wielding both of them. For the most part, the shooting in the game is sufficient. It isn't perfect and can be difficult to last very long if you're hostile in an area like I mentioned. The firefights don't really feel like the main focus of the game anyways. It feels like it's best to take out enemies with stealth or really outright avoid them. Hitman Absolution also has an upgrade system for Agent 47's abilities, which I guess theoretically should make it easier to play the game. Finishing level, you're scored based on your performance. This essentially levels Agent 47 up and gives him more upgrades. These upgrades can include anything from better weapon handling to increased reaction time when in hand-to-hand combat. This is also how you get an increase in 47's ability to take more damage and have a higher capacity for more instinct. Admittedly though, I didn't really notice any major difference between being at the base level and fully upgraded, so I assume that the difference is either minuscule or the game is just hard as fuck for someone new to the Hitman series. Apart from the game's story mode, there was also a contract mode, which as of 2022 is no longer available due to IO Interactive no longer owning the online servers for the game. I'd imagine that this is because IO Interactive is no longer a part of Square-Enix anymore, but who knows. The premise of contract mode was basically making missions for other people online. You could also buy and upgrade different weapons and stuff to use in the game mode, which seemed like it would give it more replay value. It honestly sounded like a decent idea. It's just a shame I wasn't able to actually try it out for myself because I probably would have liked it. In closing, as a first timer to the series, I did like Hitman Absolution. It made me interested enough to go and buy a few of the other games, so I'll probably end up trying those at some point. It was a bit difficult for me personally. Like I said, I've played a few other stealth games, but I don't play them often enough to not be fucking shit at them. I tend to get antsy and really end up rushing a lot more than I should, which usually ends up in bad shit happening. Even if I had fun, I still think that Hitman Absolution has flaws. For starters, the disguise system doesn't really feel all that great. I was becoming frustrated over it at times, wondering what the fuck the point of it was if you could get caught so easily. It was just fucking weird to have to continue to sneak around and shit if you didn't have those instinct points. That would be my only complaint with the game though. I can honestly say that I had a good time with it in the 8 hours that I spent playing through the campaign. Yeah, there's a lot of linearity and shit, but the game does a good job of continuing to push the player forward. However, something like this feels more of a design choice of the time, considering that there was a shitload of cover-based shooters in the early 2010s. But overall, I actually enjoyed myself with Hitman Absolution. I get some of the complaints with the level design, but as a newcomer, I still thought it was pretty fun. I don't know why I waited so long to actually play any of these games, but after doing so, I can honestly say that I'll probably be playing more of them in the future.